comment.
Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Trustee Lewis.
This is a very big vote today. I certainly take it very seriously. I've seen how hard my fellow trustees here have worked on this. The list of meetings and work sessions and all the kinds of discussions that go on in between those have been extensive. And the report that is before us captures a great deal of that. I think that really the trustees that I serve with, and in particular the Operations Committee, I really want to commend them all for the effort that was put into this. I think this was a very big effort, and it's a very big decision. We're making a decision for 10 years into the future, the restructuring of LIPA. I've gone to I don't know how many meetings and events where people have criticized LIPA and had opinions about LIPA, but this is by far the most dramatic change in LIPA's structure since its creation. And I have to say that I think if I was not a trustee and was not as fully engaged in this process, I might have reached a different conclusion. Or put it a different way, I think that when the process started and the choices were being described, I think my philosophical starting point was to support public power, to support full municipalization. I received an email last night from someone who has a environmental group email list, and he had made a point that he believed full municipalization was in the public's interest, and I responded to that and got into a little back and forth, and he sent a number of things that I reviewed, and I agreed with almost everything that he was using as the factual basis for his opinion, which was data which shows that public utilities work throughout the country. They have a good track record, and they have a lot of the benefits. But we're not today taking away public control of this utility. LIPA is considering this third option, and so when I looked at that debate, I was sort of like, well, I kind of agree with a lot of what's being said here. I've heard the argument that we have public utilities around the country. I'm an advocate of public power. We're going to have public power. It's just not going to be fully municipalized because of the structure that we've come up with which provides the benefits of public control of policy decision making. So it's been pointed out that we get the benefits of bonding through public rates, and that's great. But I would put before that it's public control of the policies. So the chairman discussed earlier the commitment to efficiency and renewables as part of our policy and mission. That continues to be the case. I think a lot of the people who are concerned and want to see full municipalization come to that opinion because they believe that if you have a private entity running a power company, the goal is to sell more power to make more profit, and that profit motive conflicts with goals of conservation and efficiency. I don't see that conflict here. I think that we have addressed that. So for me, it was an interesting process. I started with my own philosophical position, and I looked at the facts, and I found myself coming to a different conclusion. And I think I encourage those who may, we're going to hear from the public. There may still be some who are going to speak, and they have their concerns, and they have a right to do that. And I encourage them to really review the full report, because, frankly, most of what I've heard is a general argument for public power, rather than one that specifically deals with what's in this report. And let's recognize we are fiduciaries of this utility, and we have a report in front of us which says there's a significant transitional risk if we were to go to full municipalization. We would be irresponsible to disregard that kind of information that's put before us. And I have, in my role since the time I've been on the Board of Trustees, I have voted against things. I voted against our master plan. I voted against the memorandum for offshore wind. I've made arguments in favor of on-bill financing and feed-in tariffs and PSC review. And so, you know, I have no hesitation to disagree with my colleagues if that's my conclusion. But I have to say I am very impressed with what's been put before us, what the analysis shows. I think the list that Trustee Colon reviewed of the ways in which this model is different than the current model, that has not gotten into the public discussion about this issue. People are still stuck on public versus private, and they are dismissing what we're doing here today as, oh, it's just like what you currently have. And that was quite a list that Dave Colon reviewed there. And that list means a lot to those of us that are here, having more control, the streamlining of decision-making. And this affects where I come from in terms of my emphasis on promoting efficiency and renewables. I believe that under this structure, we will be much more capable of achieving, if people recall the meeting where we discussed the 500 megawatt reduction goals and how it has to ramp up significantly in the coming years. And that requires some quicker decision making. We need to be more nimble, more flexible. And this structure that we're voting on today, this ServCo model, which has proven itself, by the way, in facilities across the country that things like national labs, where they use this kind of model. So I've also heard the argument that, well, because other utilities don't do this, there must be something wrong with it. I would suggest we should consider the alternative to that, which is that LIPA is getting out in front and taking advantage and adopting a model that has worked very well in other sectors and bringing it into the energy sector. And that I think that is something that is really a great thing. I have great confidence that this is going to dramatically improve LIPA in the coming years. We need a couple of years to implement it, but I do believe there's a new LIPA that is being created today, and I wholeheartedly support the decisions, and I really do want to commend all the hard work of everybody that's been involved in this process, including the members of the public who came out and spoke. And even if I disagree with you, I commend your efforts for being engaged in this process, and that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other trustee comments?